So today's news may or may not be a surprise for you, but Thomas Jägermeyer, the FANATEC CEO and founder, has been dismissed from FANATEC, and this was a condition set by the leading banks for the extension of the standstill agreement until June of this year. So they decided to clear his position, to vacate his position for somebody else before the end of June. They don't state the reasons why this has happened. What was the reason why exactly the banks chose this going forward? It could be a restructuring of the debt. It could be the way that they have structured the debt in a way that they expanded, because FANATEC expanded a lot. Could be very well an issue of viability of the company and the debt that the company has at the moment. It is too much for them. I don't have the specifics. I am not an economist. I do not understand financials, but I'm not going to say if the company is going under anytime soon. I don't think it is. I hope not. It is not going under. We have to understand that this situation of FANATEC dismissing Thomas Jägermeyer as a CEO, it should have been gone probably 2 years ago or something like that. Before going anywhere else, I must say I'm a FANATEC affiliate. Anyways, what is being said here is about FANATEC's CEO position. Thomas Jägermeyer was dismissed from it. As far as I know, no other information was been given out. There's no other indication how the investor structure has been changing or if it has changed a lot. As far as I know, FANATEC still has Thomas Jägermeyer and his family as at least the controlling investor. He has 50%, if not more than 50% of the stock of the company. So it's likely that Thomas Jägermeyer will still have some sort of say in the way that the company is going to be managed, because after all, he is going to be still the prime investor of the company. Unless, of course, he sells the stock, but that thing is another thing altogether. In my opinion, Thomas Jägermeyer has been always an interesting person in sim racing. He is basically a little bit of the madness that exists in sim racing personified in a good way. He is definitely very passionate about racing. He's likely one of the main reasons that we have the GT2 class in SRO for some reason. He likes sim racing, he likes racing, and essentially is a boy that has a lot of money and is trying to do a future for racing or something like that. So he is a positive force in a world of sim racing, but I think that sometimes his goals were set too high, or he wasn't as pragmatic as he needed to be. FANATEC has been in a pickle since 2021. First, it was the supply shock back in post-corona. Nobody had stock, and then FANATEC was hit especially hard after the supply shock was more or less stabilized. Then they had the issues with the warehouse back in 2023. The stock came in, but they couldn't deliver because they changed their provider. It created a lot of issues for them, and I don't think it was managed correctly from FANATEC's side. And then there was a situation of Black Friday that, everything came together. There are still people with issues with FANATEC deliveries from Black Friday. There are a few, but they still are there, and for me, it's really not normal. New customers are receiving their parcels in less than 2 weeks, but if you have people that have ordered in November still don't receive anything, it's a big problem. And then you have the situations with RMA and customer support. And we have to remember that customer support is super important today, because if you don't support your customer, those customers will be speaking about it. They'll speak about their experiences, and therefore they will say, hey, this company is really not worthwhile. And this is essentially how companies essentially implode. FANATEC hasn't been able to evolve as the sim racing landscape evolves, and as their competition brings, newer and newer stuff in. They're still having a lot of components and a lot of product lines that are essentially old right now. A lot of the products that they've been selling for 4 or 5 years, maybe with the midlife refresh, if not more. For example, the McLaren wheel, very good wheel, but it's, very, very old right now. They still don't have their flagship pedals. They don't have their Club Sport line pedals. The V3s are 7, 8 years now. They have released a new wheelbase, pretty good wheelbase, but with all of that, they have other issues in the back with RMAs and quality control and something like that. And because they are the biggest company right now with a lot of bad faith from customers are essentially losing the patience with them. It's not a good look. Still not clear what is going to happen to Thomas Jägermeyer, because as far as I know, as I said, he still has 50% of the stock if the stock were sold, or if he's going to be dismissed totally from the company. Could be very well the case that he would still have some sort of role inside the company as a public relations or investment relations or something like that. Because we have to remember, if you go to Sim Racing Expo and you go to his stand and you want to talk with Thomas Jeckermeyer, you're going to have a good conversation with him. He's very passionate about sim racing, and it will be very sad actually to see him go. Could be very well the case that he says, look, I am tired of all of this. I'm going to enjoy my life. Kudos for him, but I would still like to see him around just to talk with him every so often. As for FANATEC, it is kind of unclear what is going to happen for them in the future. They have probably a set of products that are cooking right now and they want to release them. It is unclear if the investors are going to see this as a situation we're going to lose all the faith we have with FANATEC, so we're going to pull our investment out, or if they actually want this to happen because they were losing faith before with Thomas Jeckermeyer at the helm. In my opinion, a few things need to happen in FANATEC for the future, so hopefully an investor sees this video, which is kind of unlikely. FANATEC needs to be more flexible in releasing their products. They really need to start pushing new products out. Their research and development needs to be a little bit faster, so they can have products that can compete with their competition, because their competition keeps, sending stuff out, and FANATEC still only sends maybe 2 pieces of equipment each year. Some of them are good, but it's really not enough. The second point is quality control. They need to improve quality control. Some of their lines have been having quality control issues for years, and that needs to be fixed. And if you fix the quality control issues to a point, you don't have so many RMAs, you won't have so many problems with customer services. And that's the third problem. And customer service needs to improve massively in FANATEC right now. Could probably be their focus right now. Customer service could be the easiest way to have a win for them. You need to speak with somebody. If you need to speak with somebody, you should be speaking with them in less than 48 hours. In my opinion, not weeks. If you have a problem with your RMAs, you should be able to speak with somebody, or at least have a ticket automatically saying what is the status of your request, or status of your complaint, or the status of your repair. I sincerely hope that FANATEC doesn't get disbanded in like 2 years or something. I wouldn't be surprised though. There's been more surprising things in my life. Hopefully with all of this, FANATEC gets into the CEO position, somebody that is a little more flexible, a little more pragmatic, but still loves sim racing. I don't want the person in FANATEC's helm position that is purely a numbers person, and then we have a Bobby Kotick or whoever else is in gaming right now as a CEO, and then makes everything worse. These are my thoughts about this issue. Tell us below what you think. And also, I have a new gaming channel. Check it out. Maybe this site. It's a channel based out of Helldivers 2, Cyberpunk, Baldur's Gate, and whatever else I am playing at the moment. Check it out. I think you're going to like it.